This is a story about Joseph and the importance of trust. Joseph lived about 2,000 years ago in the Middle East. He was engaged to be married to Mary. Joseph could trace his family history back in a direct line to Solomon and David, Ruth, Jacob, Isaac and Abraham, whose stories we've heard in recent days. An engagement then was a firm commitment towards marriage and was often arranged between the families, not necessarily the couple involved, and may have been suggested while Mary was still quite a small child. The marriage itself was then more a seal of approval on the engagement, as was the custom at that time. The engagement was announced, but the future husband and wife would spend very little time together and almost no time alone before the marriage. Therefore, it was quite a surprise to Joseph when he found out that his intended was pregnant. He didn't want to cause a scene or embarrassment to either family, because that would have reflected badly on all parties. But he thought about it and he wanted to make a settlement that freed each of them from their obligations of marriage. It might even allow Mary to then make a life with the father of her child if she could overcome the social stigma. And then Joseph had a dream. God spoke to him. "Joseph," said God, "son of David, listen to me. Mary has done no wrong. You can believe her story about the angel. Incredible though it seems, no man has made her pregnant. The Holy Spirit has enabled her to become pregnant alone. Her baby will be incredibly special. No one has ever had a baby like this, nor will they ever. You can go ahead with the marriage as planned. There is nothing to be ashamed of. And the baby will be a boy, a very, very special boy. And when he is born, you are to call him Jesus. He has a very special mission in life. He will save the Israelite people from their sins." When Joseph woke up from his sleep, he remembered his dream and was reassured by it, and he decided he had to go ahead with the marriage agreement to support Mary and her unborn child and to bring him up as his own. He was reminded of the scriptures. "The virgin will conceive," said Joseph to himself, and finished quoting the prophet Isaiah, "and give birth to a son, and they call him Emmanuel," meaning God with us. Now this gave Joseph plenty to mull over in the days that followed. He looked after Mary as his wife, and her pregnancy was going well until a census was called by the Roman Emperor Caesar Augustus. He wanted the entire Roman world to be counted. Now in those times that meant that everyone had to go to the city of their ancestors to be recorded. And because Joseph's family came from the town of David, of Bethlehem in Judea, they would need to travel several days to get there. Joseph began to make the arrangements for the journey and worried how Mary would cope. It definitely wasn't a time for her to travel anywhere It would be a great deal of walking in the heat and the dust. But maybe they could take a donkey to carry the supplies, or then they would need additional food too. Maybe he could make arrangements to stay with relatives or friends or family along the route. Yes, that would help. Perhaps he could even find room to stay when they got to Bethlehem. Yes, that would definitely make things easier. So Joseph and Mary began their journey from Galilee. But even with some arrangements in place, it took a while, especially as Mary was in fact quite heavily pregnant by now.